Hello, little fishies of Bellingham. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited that we get to spend some time together. I'm going to be sharing a story with you all, and afterwards we're going to sing some songs together. We are going to have a fantastic time, and I hope you enjoy. King Triton, ruler of all the oceans, stormed into the palace courtyard. "Ariel," he bellowed, summoning his daughter. I was nearby, riding my seahorse, Stormy. "Uh-oh," I said worriedly. "He sounds angry." I turned Stormy around and we went to the courtyard. My daddy glared at me. "How could you sign up for the annual seahorse race?" he demanded. "It's a dangerous competition for mermen. No mermaids have ever competed." I raised my chin defiantly. "Mermaids ride seahorses too, Daddy. And Stormy may be small, but he's fast. I know we can win that race if you'll just let us enter." "Absolutely not," he shouted. "But Daddy," I pleaded. "No, Ariel, I forbid you to enter the race," he said sternly. Stormy and I made our way out of the courtyard. I knew my father would never change his mind. I moped around the race course all week long. My best friend Flounder tried to cheer me up. "The race trophy isn't really that great," he said. "I know it would make you happy, looking for some snarflats or dinglehoppers." But for once, I didn't want to look for human objects that had fallen into the sea. I only had one thing on my mind: the race. "It just isn't fair," I exclaimed. "I know I can win." "Yes," agreed Flounder, "if only you were a merman. Then your father would let you enter the race." "That's it," I cried. "I'll be a merman." "Ariel, the merman. Flounder, you're a genius." I zipped around the palace looking for a racing uniform and helmet. As I turned the corner, I swam straight into my father's advisor, Sebastian the Crab. "Teenagers," Sebastian muttered, "always in a hurry." "Sorry," I said. "I guess I just had racing on my mind." "You and your father both," the crab said as he adjusted his shell. "He keeps going to the closet to look at his old racing uniform. You know, he was your age when he entered his first competition." I was surprised. My daddy had never told me that he used to race. "Thanks, Sebastian," I said. Now I knew where to find a racing uniform. On the morning of the competition, I went to the starting line with Stormy. I was wearing my father's racing gear and had my hair hidden under a helmet. No one recognized me. My daddy raised his trident. A spark shot out of it, and the seahorses took off. The racers steered them through the water at breakneck speed. When we reached the coral reef, many of the fastest and most powerful horses could not fit through the small openings and had to swim around the coral reef. But Stormy was small and I was brave, so we swam through the reef. Before long, we had taken the lead. I shouted with joy as my seahorse whipped around the next turn. But this time, he was too fast. My helmet hit the coral and popped off. My long red hair streamed out behind me as I headed into a dark cavern. One racer, Carpa, saw my red hair from behind. "A mermaid!" he cried in disbelief. He raced as quickly as he could, trying to overtake me. It was pitch black in the cavern, but Stormy and I knew the way. We had been there many times before to search for treasures. Suddenly, Stormy and I heard someone. It was Carpa. He was closing in on us. Stormy swam out of the cavern at record speed. He headed for the last part of the race course. Stormy and I swam over and under some seaweed hurdles. Now all of Atlantica could see us. The crowd gasped as I passed by with Carpa right next to me. My daddy rose from the royal box, a look of utter surprise on his face. Stormy, I urged. With one last burst of speed, the seahorse raced across the finish line. He and I had won! Hooray! The crowd cheered. Even Carpa clapped. I had beaten him fair and square. I smiled and waved. Then I saw my father. I'm sorry, Daddy, I began. No, Ariel, I'm sorry, he interrupted. I had forgotten how much fun racing is. I was just worried about you. Can you ever forgive me? I nodded and kissed his cheek. Then he proudly handed me the trophy. Everyone cheered, but my daddy was the most enthusiastic of all. My secret grotto was my favorite place in the sea. It was where I kept all the objects that I'd found from the world above. I was fascinated with humans, even though my father forbade me to have anything to do with them. During my last trip to the surface, I had rescued a handsome prince named Eric when a terrible storm sank his ship. I had fallen in love with him, but since he was human, I left before he could see me. A while later, my fish friend Flounder found a statue of Eric and surprised me with it. I swam over to the statue and began to talk to it. Ariel, cried Sebastian, a crab who was my father's advisor. Get a hold of yourself. That's not a human, it's a hunk of rock. I ignored him. The statue said that if you two would please excuse us, he has something he'd like to tell me. I placed my head on the statue's shoulder and pretended to answer him. Why, yes, I'd love to marry you, Eric. Marry? Sebastian roared as he swam back into the grotto. You will do no such thing. In the name of His Royal Highness King Triton, I forbid this kind of talk. Oh, Sebastian, I said impatiently. It's a statue, remember? I'm just pretending. Don't worry, and please don't tell my father, okay? Sebastian reluctantly shook his head. I just know I'm going to regret this, he said. We can have the wedding right here in the grotto, I said. There's so much to do. You'll both help me, won't you? Help you with what? Sebastian asked as I handed him some seaweed to decorate with. It's make-believe. You said so yourself. Oh, dream weddings are just every bit as much work as real ones, I insisted. Everything has to be just right. Do you decorate with seaweed when you're having a party? I think Prince Eric is dressed perfectly for a wedding, I continued. This will never work. The real Prince Eric is human, Sebastian said. He lives on land. And every self-respecting sea dweller knows that mermaids live underwater. That may be true, I said, but who knows what the future will bring? May I be the chef? Flounder asked. Please, please. I laughed. Of course, Flounder, I said. I want you to prepare all the most wonderful foods you can imagine. How about some seaweed souffle and some plankton salad? Flounder asked. Oh, yes, I cried as I imagined the feast. And don't forget the wedding cake. Just leave it to me, Flounder said proudly. This will be a wedding dinner like no one has ever seen. You can say that again, Sebastian muttered. Oh, I can hardly wait, I exclaimed. I can picture the entire ceremony. My sisters will make such beautiful bridesmaids, and my father will look so proud and distinguished as we... Your father? Sebastian looked as if he was ready to faint. Oh, don't be such a party pooper, Sebastian, I said. I'm not actually going to invite my family, since this is a pretend wedding. At least for now, I added quietly. That's it, Sebastian cried. I can't take any more of this nonsense. Flounder, I called. Sebastian's leaving. Can you think of someone else who could be the master conductor of the grand orchestra? Grand orchestra? Sebastian asked. Master conductor? Of course. You're my first choice, Sebastian, I said. But... But nothing, Sebastian cried. A crab must do what a crab must do. The pretend wedding must go on. Grabbing a candlestick from me, Sebastian began to conduct his pretend orchestra. May I have this dance? Flounder asked me, bowing politely. With pleasure, kind sir, I laughed. Flounder and I danced, twirling around until we were both dizzy. That evening, I was trying on a veil I had made when Flounder arrived with a pearl necklace. Oh, Flounder, it's beautiful! I gasped with delight. It belongs to a friend, Flounder said. She said you could borrow it. Isn't that a beautiful necklace? I looked around. With the shell I used to decorate my hair, I had something old. The veil I just made was something new. The pearls were my something borrowed, and a bracelet I'd found was my something blue. That's everything a bride needs, I exclaimed. The next morning, Sebastian nervously followed me as I made my way to the grotto. I hope no one sees us, he said. Not getting cold feet, claws, are you? I teased. Most assuredly not, Sebastian retorted. The orchestra is ready when you are. Are you ready? Flounder asked when Sebastian and I arrived at the grotto. I nodded, and the fish escorted me down the aisle as the orchestra played the wedding march. Then Sebastian cleared his throat and moved to the front of the grotto. Do you, Princess Ariel, take this statue to be your, now listen closely to this part, young lady, make-believe husband? I do, I cried happily. And do you, Mr. Pretend Prince, take this princess to be your make-believe wife? Sebastian finished. I leaned towards the statue. He says he does, I told the crab with a giggle. Well then, I suppose I have to pronounce you imaginary husband and wife, he said. Hooray, Flounder cheered. With my eyes glowing like stars, I hugged my friends. Oh, thank you! This has been a wonderful pretend wedding, I cried. And now I'm inviting you both to my real wedding to Prince Eric. I'm not sure when it will happen, or where, or how, but I know it will. It won't matter that there's an ocean of difference between us. Nothing can stand in the way of true love. I sighed with happiness, imagining that I was really marrying Eric. At the end of the ceremony, we would kiss. Ew! I cried suddenly. I realized that I was actually kissing a very startled Flounder. Aha! Sebastian shouted. See what comes of thinking a mermaid could marry a human prince? As if that could really ever happen. But I didn't care what Sebastian said. I knew in my heart that someday Prince Eric and I would live happily ever after. This is a song I used to sing in my grotto with all my human treasures, and I was hoping so badly that somehow, some way, I could become part of the human world. This song is called Part of Your World, and I hope you'll sing along with me. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here, you'd think, sure, she's got everything. I got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I got who's its and what's its galore. want thingamabobs? I've got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see 'em dancing, walking around on those, what do you call 'em? Oh, feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down the, what's that word again? Sweet. Up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? Betcha on land, they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters like young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand, and ready to know what the people know. Ask 'em my questions and get some answers. Lots of fire and bright is it? What's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore the shore above? Out of the sea. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give to live where you are? What would I pay to stay here beside you? What would I do to see you smiling at me? Where would we walk? Where would we run? If we could stay all day in the sun, just you and me, and I could be part of your world. I sang this song to Prince Eric when I saw him on the beach after the ship became a shipwreck. I swam up to him and I touched his face and sang to him. But as soon as he opened his eyes, I swam back into the ocean because I thought that we could never be together because I was a mermaid and he was a human. But I was wrong, and I traded in my tail for my human legs, and we've been living happily ever after. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now. And you'll see, someday I'll be part of your world. This is a song that Sebastian sang for me when I was on my first date with Prince Eric in a boat in the Blue Lagoon. It's called Kiss the Girl, and I hope you'll sing along with me. Can we all sway to the music just like this together? There you see her, sitting there across the way. She don't got a lot to say, but there's something about her. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try. You wanna kiss the girl. Yes, you want her. Look at her, you know you do. Possible you want you do. There is one way to ask her. You don't take a word, not a single word. Go on and kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, my oh my, look like that boy too shy. Ain't gonna kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, that's sad, ain't it a shame? Too bad, we gonna miss the girl. So, earlier that night, Sebastian had told me how to kiss, and you said, you gotta bat your eyes like this. Can we all bat our eyes together? And you gotta pucker up your lips like this. Can everybody bat their eyes and pucker up their lips with me? We're gonna get so many kisses. Now's your moment, floating in a blue lagoon. Boy, you better do it soon. No time will be better. She don't say a word, and she won't say a word until you kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, don't be scared. You got the mood prepared. Go on and kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, don't stop now. Don't try to hide it. How you wanna kiss the girl? Sha la 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 la, put along and listen to the song. The song said kiss the girl. Sha la 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 la, music play. Do what the music say. You gotta kiss the girl. 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 This is a song I sang when I got my human legs. Everything felt so new and so weird and so different, but it felt so right. This is where I belong, beneath the clear white blue here. I feel completely new here in the world above. It's like my life was wrong, and somehow now at last I'm in my own skin. Here in the world above, there's so much light here, light and space. The sun so bright here upon my face. It feels so right here. Love. Life seems to be almost calling to me from this strange new world above. Hello there, angelfish. I hope you had a wonderful time flipping your fins with me today. I know I had lots of fun. I'd also like to thank the Bellingham Library for allowing me to share a story and some songs with you all today. I really hope you enjoyed them. I can't wait to walk around on those, what do you call them? Oh, feet with you all again and stay all day in the sun together. I hope that you stay happy and healthy, and I'm sending you lots of hugs and fishes. Bye-bye, angelfish.